Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashy Business Show. Today is Thursday, June 26, 2025. Tomorrow is a holiday, yes. And I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Wad Ahmed, and we've got a packed show for you today. Firstly, we're going to discuss how House of Pop CEO has responded after sugary drinks were added to their orders, to their customers' orders without approval. And then you have the famous American personality, Candace Owens, saying that she's being allegedly accused of taking Qatar and Iran funding. The World Bank has approved $1.3 billion in funding to rebuild infrastructure in Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq. And finally, the U.S. has approved a $30 million Gaza aid grant, despite concerns over safety and oversight.
And the very first news is from a local brand, UAE-based, Dubai-based desert brand, House of Pops, and is reaffirming its commitment to clean label values after an unexpected misstep involving one of its e-commerce partners. They didn't name them, but CEO and co-founder Mazen Kanan shared on LinkedIn that sugary drinks were added as complimentary gifts, free, to customer orders without the brand's knowledge or approval.
So while the drinks were free, the gesture triggered concern from loyal customers. One customer left a detailed review, not criticizing the product itself, but questioning why a wellness-focused brand like House of Pops would include free high-sugar beverages in its customers' orders. Now, the incident, Mazen Kanan noted, wasn't about the item. It was about brand alignment and consumer trust.
And House of Pops markets itself as a plant-based, refined, sugar-free dessert company built around health and sustainability. Mazen Kanan said it was free, but that did not matter. Our customers hold us accountable to our values, and that's powerful. And the brand sees this as a lesson in maintaining consistency across every customer touchpoint.
So the company, which operates 18 shops and supplies over 100 hospitality venues across the Gulf, is expected to review its third-party partnerships and fulfillment protocols to prevent such misalignments in the future.
And lastly, the episode is a reminder to brands across industries, not only ice creams and F&B, everyone. Values are just marketing language. They are a responsibility. And in today's market, customers notice when brands break that promise. So it's an interesting story, yeah?
It is, because it's like you have a customer who is like, oh my God, I just ordered House of Pops ice cream. And then they receive the order. They got something for free. They got free sugary coffee. And they had a problem with getting something for free. And I remember even in the message that they sent, like they said, you know, I really appreciate this. However, this gift, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it just, to be honest with you, Majid, I don't get the point of having to send the message, but at the same time, I do get the point, because for me, if I'm ordering ice cream, I'll be honest with you, I like ice cream with sugar.
Yeah.
I like ice cream that is packed with sugar, so I don't think I would find myself having House of Pops a lot if it's not like in an event or there's a pop-up. So I think the fact like somebody's ordering House of Pops to their home, you know they're a serious fan, and they're like, guys, like I stood with you because you're so healthy and you're sending me this. So I get the concern. And by the way, you know what's so interesting? Apparently, House of Pops is the only ice cream brand in the UAE that is allowed to be sold in schools.
Yeah, because again, it's
I was so surprised.
No preservatives and everything.
No, seriously, I was so surprised. But, you know, with House of Pops generally, their story, it's so inspiring. It was founded by Mazen Kanan. He's from Lebanon. And his wife, who's from Costa Rica, who created all of the flavors. And they even went on Shark Tank Dubai. And, you know, he got the funding that he needed. I believe he asked for 10 million dirhams.
I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it's good that brands are breeding loyalty, and it's very good for local brands especially. I love when local brands come out with these stories, because again, local brands will have eventually a life of their own.
It's so interesting because they call themselves out first. Like for me, I'd be like, no, I'm not letting anybody know.
It's always good to come out and say the truth as a brand, because people will they will become more loyal to you, because these guys don't lie to us. They don't say, oh, it's 0% sugar, but then they add 0.5 grams of sugar and be like, oh, this is considered 0%. In American consumerism, in the Western consumerism, there's so many theories about all of this that the things that you see as without sugar, it clearly says no sugar, blah, blah, blah. There's a certain standard. If you add that much sugar, for example, I saw this somewhere, 0.5 grams of sugar is not considered adding sugar. So you can very easily label it on your brand like, oh, non-sugar, but always go in and then check, and they will always have like some amount. So there's a lot.
Can you say that amount again, Magic?
0.5 grams was like throughout a serving, like a whole
Okay.
serving of anything, if you add 0.5 grams, that's not considered sugar. Because it's so less in amount, but it's still there.
That is so
Yeah.
interesting. So they can that's why they market
Yeah.
it no sugar.
Oh, actually, yeah, I remember.
And then I eat it, and I'm like, this does have sugar.
It's a diary of a CEO podcast by Stephen Bartlett. I saw a doctor come on it, and he was talking about it. I just remembered some picture, and then I remembered Stephen Bartlett. That's the main thing. He had a whole chat with him. It's a whole podcast. I just saw clips of it, and in that he was saying, he was like calling out all these brands who do this, and he was like, this is allowed legally. They do it legally. So you just have to be more and more brand conscious and see which brand is not adding anything. And even with House of Pops, the good thing is I've eaten one of their ice creams, the mango one. It's really great in terms of how they've marketed and everything, but it's too expensive. That's my only... So if Mazen, anywhere he listens and anyone tells him that they were saying about this, it still is very much above the normal market price. So if I go and if I have the buying power, I will buy it. Obviously, it's like 12, 15 dirhams or like 20 dirhams for a popsicle, I think. But not everyone will spend that much money on a popsicle, right? You can get a 3, 4, 5 dirham popsicle from the bigger brands like Walls and Igloo and all these. So yeah, why would I spend that amount? So I think his niche market is really great, the healthy market. They spend a lot on
Imagine.
How much is it?
A bar is like 25 dirhams.
See, so a popsicle for 25, okay, great, it's plant-based, it's no preservatives, it's perfect
A box of
for
5 is
healthy
85.
people. But that's a very small market segment. So, and again, yeah.
And I think for me, I think that's why it's so interesting for me that they were able to do so well
Yeah.
and succeed. And
They have targeted a niche market, which is great.
Exactly.
Healthy people love to eat ice cream. They can't because even without sugar, it has some kind of sugar. There's this chemical that they use in
or
non-sugaries.
trans fats.
Yeah, so I think he marketed it to the perfect audience. But if he wants to expand someday, the prices have to come low, or the prices have to change, or maybe he does something which brings the price down. Maybe anything, operationally, logistically, he has to bring the prices down. It's not a criticism, it's just an observation from a guy who has a kid who loves popsicles.
I don't think that will happen though, Magic.
Yeah,
because I
right?
think they've existed for a while. So to
And-
drop the price right now, people would be like, what's going on here?
What's going on here?
I think it would definitely raise a lot of eyebrows.
He has still a market which he can capture.
Yeah,
He
that's
still
for
has
sure.
a market he can
Trust
capture.
me, healthy people, like they really care about this stuff.
Yeah,
No, they
they'll spend
seriously
a
do.
lot of money on food because they want to stay healthy. So that's a good market.
Exactly.
It's the people who have the money who he's selling to. But for the people who don't have that kind of money, he can very easily tap into them. Maybe make an alt version of it, House of Pops, the smaller pops, or anything which comes within the pricing range for the lower tier, the
Magic,
middle
I
class
feel like
tier.
the people who are obsessed with House of Pops are probably the same people who go like grocery shopping in Spinneys.
Yeah,
Right?
and it is available in Spinneys.
Exactly.
Right?
I feel like they're those people.
Yeah, so
but
next story, very important story. It's a famous American journalist, Candace Owens. World loves her. I think a lot of people love her. She has garnered a very big following. She just shared a screenshot yesterday. She has 4.3 million subscribers on YouTube alone.
Her podcast is
That's a
doing
big
insane.
number. So she said that she's being accused of receiving secret funding from Qatar and Iran, and we recently saw what happened between Qatar and Iran. Allegations she calls a coordinated smear campaign aimed at discrediting her public stance on Israel.
Now, Owens says this is the second wave of attacks against her and claims influencers were basically told to accuse her of this and are being paid to create anti-Candace and anti-Tucker Carlson videos, basically falsely suggesting that they are being funded by Middle Eastern governments.
And in a recent Instagram story, she offered $5,000 to anyone who can provide verifiable proof, just as email or text from people who told them to make a smear campaign against Candace Owens. So she said she just wants to identify the source of the campaigns. Owens also promised to keep their identity anonymous, which is a given, to be honest.
Now, Owens has been outspoken in recent months, especially after Israel's illegal and unprovoked strike on Iran. Now, she's also accused Israel of carpet bombing Gaza, expanding its borders, and using U.S. military power for foreign interests.
And the journalist, Candace Owens, she left the Daily Wire in March 2024 after public clashes with co-founder Ben Shapiro over her stance on Gaza. Since then, she's built an independent platform with over 4 million YouTube subscribers. And that's a big following.
It is, but this is so interesting because it's like, I think for me, it's telling me that all of these higher powers are now aware that we all listen to influencers.
Yeah.
And and this is why I don't trust influencers.
Yeah.
I never believe a word that they say because you never know
Who is
what's
paying them, right?
sponsored. You never know who's sponsored. So I think the fact that you have someone like Candace Owens, who she's been very vocal about acknowledging that what Israel is doing to the Palestinian people is a genocide, it's ethnic cleansing, and the fact that now, people are being paid to say that Candace is being funded by Qatar and Iran. I mean,
So
even
they can toe the line against Israel, basically.
it's so interesting because it's like, if you know Candace Owens, this is the most pro-American personality to ever exist. I think where her argument specifically is coming from, Majid, is why are you using American money to carry out everything that Netanyahu wants? And I completely understand her because I remember, I will never forget the Smashy Business episode, Majid, where me and you were announcing that, Donald Trump has become the president of America. And both me and you were discussing how literally a few days after his election, what did he do? He sent billions of dollars to Israel.
In military areas.
And then it's even more interesting because right before Biden left, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Over $4 billion in armed weapons to Israel. So I understand why she would question that. If I'm somebody who's a part of a hardworking society and I'm paying a lot of taxes, why would I want my money go into something that has nothing to do with me and would not benefit me?
And
So,
this is actually, to be honest, me and Worth were discussing Zohran Mamdani yesterday, the new New York City mayor. He's the first ever Muslim mayor who will be elected, and we've seen a shift. So there's a very far cornered, like left or right audience now in American politics. So there's one part which wants people like Zohran Mamdani, who say, he was talking to Ziteo, Mehdi Hassan, and he was like, Mehdi Hassan asked him, would you arrest Netanyahu if he comes to New York City?
He said yes.
And it was like, even though America is not a part of ICC, the International Criminal Court, he said, yes, I will arrest him. So imagine this is one corner, and then there is another corner, which is the MAGA corner, which is the Make America Great Again.
Majid, I do believe him because I saw this video of Zohran saying that I don't make promises that I cannot keep. So
and his whole campaign, sorry, we're a little divesting from the topic. We'll come back to Candace Owens, and it actually is about Candace Owens and the creator economy. His whole campaign has been so creative. He rapped. He used to make rap songs when he was in Uganda for some time. His mother belongs to a creative industry. Meera Nair is one of the most cherished producer, directors, or filmmaker basically in India. The Reluctant Fundamentalist, if you watch that movie, everyone must have, because of Riz, I think. That movie is made by her, the whole idea, the concept.
Oh, and he went on an episode with Kareem from Subway Takes. And for me, by the way, I thought this was a casual episode, like Kareem always does them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hold on. Kareem is sitting with somebody who does actually want to be the mayor.
Yeah.
And by the way, the fact that with wait, what is his name again? Zohran. The fact that his wife is Syrian, I think that stood out to a lot of people that this is a person who's the values that they're preaching, they're actually practicing in their own lives.
Yeah.
So I think his influencer campaign, it completely worked. He even went with this model. I forgot her name. What is her name? She's a very famous model.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And they both did a video. Amrata. They both did a video. Yeah, they both did a video together where she was like, guys, go
Emily
vote for...
Rajatkowski. It's a very
I don't think we're talking about the same person.
The Instagram handle is Emrata, but her name is she was a guest judge on one of the seasons. Not the guest judge.
I'm surprised you know this.
A host on Chef Australia. What's that show? The cooking show, Australian Chef or something. It has all the versions. She was a host. I know her from that time because I was like,
really?
Yeah, she's a very famous personality. And again, see, he brought the whole social media together, and also he got support from a lot of people who are there as refugees, who are there, and Trump is trying to kick them out, illegals and aliens, whatever he is calling them. So he got support. He had a very nice campaign. This is what Candace Owens has also been a part of, the greater change in American mentality, basically, where people are actually moving away from the MAGA theory that, we want to make America great again, but Israel is not America is not first, Israel is firstest. That meme on social media is so funny, where Trump, that face of his MAGA face that he made for the campaign, where everyone is like, oh yes, America is first, but Israel is first. So people actually want to know where the tax money is going. They want schools, they want education, they want hospitals, they want healthcare, they want everything. What happened? All good?
Sorry, I'm just opening the live, and it's killing me.
Why? Nothing happened?
Don't worry about it. Continue.
But yeah, that's the main thing.
Her name is Emily. It's not Emrata.
No, her account has Emrata.
Okay.
The account name is Emrata, but it's a short form for Emily Rajatkowski.
Majid, this is how you know that I'm just like chronically online and that I consume way too much media that I don't even have time to like just know somebody's complete name.
I'm just so
sorry,
with the link.
Emily. I love you.
No. The good thing is that you know her handle.
Exactly.
See,
I can find her immediately.
I realize it's become more of an identity for a lot of people. I have a friend from Pakistan. Her account is Rebellious Brownie.
Rebellious Brownie?
Because she has brown skin and she does clothing and all this lifestyle content. No one knows her real name. Everyone, whenever she meets someone, they're like, oh, Rebellious Brownie, how are you?
And like, Rocco too. Yeah. Nobody knows her real name. And then I remember...
you know Mo Vlog's full name?
No. I don't. I don't. And
so these have become digital identities for these people.
I also remember I followed the former editor-in-chief of ITP Media. I believe he led Arabian Business. Majid, I just remember Ultimate Bozo. That is what I remember. That is what I remember.
And it's a good thing, to be honest. It has helped creators make a new identity because as a person, you may be boring. Maybe I'm a very boring person in life, but my social presence or my digital presence, if I give it a cool name and I make cool content, maybe people will think, oh, this is the guy. Yeah, but actually when people meet you, they realize you're the new one. It's a very nice digital and real world identity thing. Let's discuss it someday else. But again, the main whole conversation why we're having it about Candace Owens is that part of the world, the side, MAGA side, they think whenever someone in America criticizes any American policy where money is involved, where tax money is involved, they're being pumped with billions by this region. And it's wrong.
And by the way,
we have our own things to do. We don't need you guys to say it.
It's kind of like this stereotype. I feel like it's this stereotype that, the Gulf, the Middle East, it's just a bunch of shuyukh that have so much money that they can just throw at people.
And do propaganda for them. No.
Exactly, but that is completely untrue.
They have better things to do. They're building roads for their people. They're building safety for their people. They have the best livability rates, lovability rates. They have the best things in the world. You go to airline ratings, it's always Qatar Airways, Emirates. You go to, recently we did so many stories. Dubai, I'm just doing the story as we finish the show, we'll publish it. Dubai got 9 million visitors by now. So imagine last year, I think the number was 18-ish. They've already gotten 9 million. And in May alone, it was 1.5 million people who came to Dubai.
That is
stayed
crazy.
An average of 3 nights. So you have to understand that these guys are doing something right. They don't need to come and do propaganda in your country against your policies.
And I think
they have better things to do in your in our own country.
What I love about Candace Owens is the fact that she I found the story on her story on Instagram, and I just love the honesty. She was like, guys, XYZ is happening. And the fact that she mentioned Tucker Carlson too, I think, is very interesting.
Because we've seen a 180-degree shift in Tucker Carlson's tone. We recently saw him criticizing one of the senators, asking him, you want to flat out Iran, but do you know how much the population is? And that guy was
he did not know the answer.
No, I don't need to. It's it's 19 million. So he asked him so many questions. And he asked him about why they're supporting Israel. And then he quoted the Constitution to him. It's according to Constitution, you can't support a foreign government. And if there is an agency or NGO or any company which is which is raising money for foreign government, they need to register. And he said APAC, American Israel something group, completely forgot it right now. But he said they are not registered as a company or anything which is raising money for Israeli government. So he's like, whatever you're supporting, you half you don't know it, what you're doing, and half you're doing it wrong. So this whole conversation which is happening about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I think Tucker Carlson, in the recent past, I was seeing the numbers. Joe Rogan has the best podcast in America, the most numbers by views and everything. But Tucker Carlson actually jumped. And he became the number one, but then Joe Rogan, obviously, he's Joe Rogan, and he came back. But Tucker Carlson is the top 3, he's a part of the top 10 list, and right now he's at number 3. So imagine the influence that these people, Candace Owens was not there, but I think she will grow eventually.
No, she is there right now.
She's not in the top 10 viewers-wise, numbers-wise she's not, but I think she has a very hard, loyal
Where are you getting
cult
these
following.
Numbers from for Tucker
I was looking
Carlson?
at a YouTube thing. I think we got it in the email.
Candace Owens is on Spotify too. And I'm pretty sure. I think
it was just YouTube numbers. So I think other
too.
Places she may be big.
But just to move on to the next topic. So the World Bank has approved more than $1.3 billion in new funding to support infrastructure recovery across 3 war-affected countries in the Middle East. So this is going to be Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq.
And Lebanon will receive $250 million to rebuild public infrastructure damaged by recent conflicts, to be very specific, Israel's bombing of Lebanon, and to manage rubble clearance. The country continues to face mounting reconstruction needs amid economic collapse and political gridlock.
So Syria is set to receive $146 million to restore its electricity grid, one of the most heavily damaged sectors after 14 years of war. Now, millions remain without consistent power across the country.
And the largest share, $930 million, goes to Iraq. The funds will modernize and expand the national railway system, a key step in supporting job creation, reducing oil dependency, and aligning with Iraq's Vision 2030. I never knew there was an Iraq Vision 2030.
Me
as
too.
well.
I feel like we've attached it with Saudi Arabia a lot. Anyways, while the funding marks a major commitment, progress will depend on security access, institutional reforms, and transparent implementation. So the World Bank is expected to monitor project execution closely across all 3 countries. I think this is very exciting to hear about because as somebody who is from Sudan, who has experienced when the electricity is not working and you're just in the dark, it is not a fun experience. It is not a fun experience to sit with candles.
See, the funny thing is, it's funny, it's interesting, it's a little weird also. In countries which have war, I understand all of this happening, right? Electricity problems, water problems. But there are third world countries where these problems are there without even wars. And that's because of corruption. We always talk about it. Corruption is the main core of every problem right now. But this money, basically, it's good. A lot of people will say that it's just aid money and they won't use it properly. But Syria specifically is a good case in this, that they're receiving money for infrastructure and all that. Because yesterday we did a story.
They got money that they're getting from the World Bank. Is it just funding, or is this debt that they're going to have to pay?
This is
later on?
The World Bank money comes in 2 parts. One is debt, which you actually ask for, and then World Bank has its own money, which it makes through. It's the World Bank, so it makes profits.
I asked that because a while ago we heard about how Qatar and Saudi Arabia paid off the $15 million debt for Syria. So I was just curious to see, is this going to be another cage?
This money comes this money comes, you can do whatever you want with it. Obviously, there's so many checks to see that this money is properly utilized, but you can return the money, or at least you return some part of it to get more money. So the $15 million was not the whole amount that they owe to the World Bank. It was the minimum threshold that they had to pay back to get more money. So you can never go out of debt with World Bank. That's the case. But there is a minimum amount always attached. For example, if they're getting 125 million, there will be a minimum amount that they return. Eventually, through whenever this whole thing goes into function, the infrastructure and everything, and they start earning money or making money from all the things that they're doing, and which is good. Syria is doing a lot of things now. Then when they go into budget surpluses and anything, they have to pay back.
Okay, but
so there is always a minimum amount attached to it.
Yeah, there is. And it's actually not just the World Bank who is giving funding. It's the United States too. And they've just approved a $30 million grant to the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, known as GHF, a private group delivering food aid in Gaza despite internal government concerns about safety and transparency.
And the World Bank had good intentions. This American funding has a very weird intention, because this is the first known financial contribution from the US, from the Washington, to the foundation, which is the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. We will come back to what it means, which had previously received only diplomatic support. So US always said, oh, we support this and whatever they're doing is good, but now they've actually given them the money.
Yeah.
The grant was issued through US aid, which we know that Trump came and he wanted to shut it down, but now he's using that to give money to them. So that's also builds a lot of curiosity, and it was under the priority directive by White House and State Department. And priority directive, we just talked about it at the start of the show, that when Israel got the military aid in terms of bombs, tanks, Caterpillar, everything, that was also a priority directive. So it actually moves from any scrutiny, any audits, it just goes.
Okay.
So that is used in emergency cases, but I don't think this is an emergency case, not for Gaza. But the company which is doing all of that is a private company.
It's
not an
interesting.
NGO.
So the funding bypassed typical vetting procedures like financial audits and extremism checks. So Gaza Humanitarian Foundation operates through private U.S. security and logistics firms, so private firms, as Majid said, including companies led by former CIA officers and U.S. military veterans.
And over 400 Palestinians have reportedly died near food distribution points run by GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. And the UN critics, not us, not Middle Eastern, not anyone, the United Nations critics say the use of militarized zones and inexperienced aid providers has increased the risk of violence and civilian casualties.
So GHF claims to have delivered 40 million meals and denies any looting of its aid trucks. As further U.S. funding is considered, Washington faces growing pressure to coordinate better with UN agencies and reassess overnight. I think with this, it disappoints me so much because you have this company, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Yeah.
The company that is basically running them is called McNally Capital. McNally Capital is a company that is run by former CIA officers.
No,
And then-
McNally is a family company. They bought a stake in Safe Reach Solutions, which is run by a CIA auditor. It's a very complicated,
Wait,
I know.
SRS,
sorry.
yes. I was
Safe
thinking
Reach
of
Solutions.
SRS over
Yeah.
McNally, but basically it's McNally that has a stake in SRS,
Yes.
and it is SRS that is running Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. And the reason why this is also concerning is because you have Americans, you have former CIA officers who are running an aid foundation for Palestinians. And it's like, I saw a video on the BBC where you can clearly see that there are so many Palestinians that are running over the foundation and running past it. If it says that it's going to do what it's going to do, which is give people aid, it's almost like it's not doing it.
The UN criticism is very clear. They say this company was recently created. They don't have any aid experience, and they were green-lighted. The funny thing is they were green-lighted by America and Israel. They trust them to do it. They don't trust UNRWA, which has like decades of handling these situations. It's like going to a 50-year-old person who has I would take the name. What's the name of the guy? Warren Buffett. You go to Warren Buffett and he says, don't invest in this stock. And then a 5-year-old says, no, invest in this stock. And you're like, okay, I'll listen to the 5-year-old. It's that kind of, you have UNRWA, which has so much experience. Israel banned it from the whole Gaza, the West Bank strip. They were like, no UNRWA. So there is something wrong in all of this.
But Majid, do you know what my theory is? My theory is that America is basically using this like
a money-making operation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not just money-making, but more of actually they're using the foundation as this like blanket to quietly, I believe, fund the IDF and fund Israel. Because why? Because why would you have a company ran by former CIA officers? They're not actually giving people aid, and it's. Oh, another interesting point is that SRS, not only is it, funding Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, but it's also the same company that is providing military arms that are stationed at all these aid checkpoints. So I think that the dichotomy that is drawn there, it's very concerning. I think I still think we don't know the full story, but we're definitely going to soon find out. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashy Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all of our social media channels and stay ahead with our daily newsletter.
And this has been a Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our 1.5 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Tomorrow we're off. It's the New Year, Islamic New Year holiday. So expect audio show maybe, but we're not going to be here. We'll see you back on Monday now. Have a great day. Have
a great weekend.
Yeah. Bye-bye.